We're still light years away, but plans have been unveiled for an underground museum at the Lincoln Memorial. It's where we find reporter Angela Rivas from our DC Bureau live this morning.
There's visitors all around the Lincoln Memorial now, but in 3 years, these visitors will be able to venture underneath the structure to get an entirely different experience that highlights the architecture of the 1900s and the historic role the landmark has played in civil protests and national celebrations. This new visitor center will allow patrons to go to the Undercroft, a large open area underground that stands 30 feet above ground level, where the concrete foundations of the memorial are located. People will learn more about the construction methods they used in the 1900s and the historic moments that have taken place in front of the monument, such as Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and several demonstrations and gatherings over the decades, including Black Lives Matter and the Women's March. National Park Service spokesperson Mike Litteris explained that while the 15,000 square foot exhibit space will start construction this month, it has been in the works since the 1960s.
And we still see the focus today on civil rights at the Lincoln Memorial. If you look back to the Black Lives Matter protests just a few years ago, the Women's March. Those events are still focusing on the Lincoln Memorial. It's still a relevant story, and it's a good time to tell that story.
This visitor center will focus on how the meaning of the Lincoln Memorial has changed over the years, from being a backdrop for national celebrations to being the location where Americans go to exercise their First Amendment rights. FIU professor Dr. Marvin Dunn specializes in Black history and says he believes its construction is a step in the right direction.
So expanding upon this so that we have even more information and more stimulation on this subject is absolutely wonderful. Frankly, I'm surprised that it's being done, given the amount of money I'm sure that's involved in it, at a time when our government is moving away from this sort of thing. So it's a very, very, very wonderful step in the right direction.
Litteris also added that the visitor center will be open just in time for the 250th anniversary of our country's independence. I'm Angela Rivas in Washington, D.C. for the South Florida Media Network.